What if the real reason your erection is failing has nothing to do with age and everything to do with how your body has been functioning in silence for the last 20 years? Think about it. When your penis stops getting hard, is it truly because your testosterone collapsed, or is it because the blood vessels, nerves, and muscles that once worked effortlessly simply aren't responding anymore? Men over 50 hear the same lie over and over: it's normal. But impotence is not random, and it's not irreversible. It follows a pattern, and once you understand that pattern, you can break it. Here's the truth most men never hear from anyone, not even their doctors. Erections are created by three systems working together: blood flow, pelvic muscle activation, and nerve signaling. When just one of these weakens, your erection weakens. When two collapse, your penis barely responds. And when all three fail, you end up believing medication is your only hope. But it isn't. Your body can still create a strong, natural erection when you know how to activate the right mechanisms again. That's exactly why the exercises in this video were selected. They're not random movements, they specifically target the root causes of erectile dysfunction: restricted blood flow, inactive pelvic muscles, and compressed nerves in the lower back and hips. When you reactivate these systems, even gently, your penis begins to regain hardness, control, and sensitivity. Many of my patients over 55 feel the difference in the first few days because these exercises wake up tissues that have been dormant for years. So before we get into the first movement, you need to understand this clearly: your erection isn't gone. It's offline. And what we're about to do is turn it back on through direct, physical stimulation of the mechanisms that create rigidity. No pills, no devices, no side effects, just your body finally doing what it was always meant to do. Now, let me ask you something important. Have you ever felt your erection fade even when you were mentally aroused? That's a sign of poor pelvic activation. Have you noticed your penis get softer during the day? That's circulation failing. These are not random aging problems. They're warning signs that the system needs to be reawakened, and that's exactly what we're starting right now. Before we continue, tell me in the comments if you've ever experienced these signals in your own body. Your experience matters, and it helps other men realize they're not alone. And while you're here, make sure to like this video and check if you're already subscribed so you don't miss the steps that actually restore your performance. Now let's move into the first exercise that begins activating the core mechanism behind a strong erection. The first movement is all about restoring the foundational command center of your erection, the pelvic floor. Most men over 50 have no idea how weak this region becomes with age: long hours sitting, lower back stiffness, and years of shallow breathing. Yet this group of deep muscles is responsible for one essential action: forcing blood into the penis and keeping it there. When the pelvic floor collapses, the erection collapses. When it reactivates, everything changes. To understand why this exercise is so powerful, imagine the base of your pelvis as a hammock holding your sexual organs in place. Over time, that hammock loosens, the muscles lose tone, and the nerves that send erection commands become sluggish. Blood enters the penis but leaks out immediately. That's why so many men report a half erection that fades or never gets fully firm. This movement directly reverses that process by retraining the pelvic muscles to contract strongly, rhythmically, and with enough pressure to trap blood inside the erectile chambers again. Here's how you start. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position and relax your stomach completely. Now tighten the exact muscles you would use to stop yourself from urinating midstream. Not your abs, not your legs, not your glutes. Only the deep pelvic muscles. Hold that contraction for 3 seconds and release. In the beginning, it may feel weak or uncoordinated. That's normal. Years of inactivity take time to undo. What matters is the precision of the contraction, not brute force. Once you establish the basic pattern, increase the hold to 5 seconds, then 8. You should feel a subtle lift inside the pelvis, almost like the base of the penis and the area between the testicles and anus are tightening upward. If you feel pressure in your lower back or your thighs, readjust. The goal is isolation. Slow, deliberate repetition is what strengthens the neuromuscular pathway that controls erections. With each contraction, you're essentially sending your penis a message: wake up. Respond. Hold the blood. After about 20 repetitions, most men notice a warm sensation in the pelvic region. That's blood flow increasing as the muscles begin firing. Again. After a week of consistent practice, the connection between mind, nerves, and penis becomes noticeably stronger. Morning erections appear fuller, arousal builds more easily, and the penis maintains firmness for longer periods. This happens because the pelvic muscles finally regain the strength to clamp the veins at the base of the penis, a mechanism essential for rigidity. Breathing is the hidden key. Inhale gently as you relax the muscles, and exhale as you contract. This rhythm supports the nervous system and prevents tension from building in areas that don't help your erection. Think of it not as a workout, but as retraining the inner machinery of your sexual function. These contractions prepare your body for the other movements that expand blood vessels and decompress nerves, creating a complete framework for restoring performance naturally. As you master this activation, your body becomes more responsive. And that responsiveness is what allows the next exercise to amplify circulation in a way most men haven't felt in decades. Now that the pelvic floor is awake and beginning to regain its natural strength, the next step is to enhance the one thing every erection depends on: uninterrupted blood flow. Without strong circulation, even the most responsive muscles can't create firmness. This second movement focuses on vasodilation, the process that opens your blood vessels and increases nitric oxide production, the chemical signal that tells the arteries in your penis to relax and allow blood to rush in. After 50, nitric oxide levels drop significantly, which is why erections become slower, softer, and easier to lose. This exercise directly counteracts that decline by training the vascular system to open fully again. Begin by standing with your feet shoulder-width apart and your knees slightly bent. Keep your abdomen relaxed and your chest open. Now inhale through your nose and raise your arms slowly above your head as if you're pulling your rib cage upward and stretching the front of your pelvis. This movement expands the abdominal cavity and reduces compression on the arteries that supply the penis. As you exhale through your mouth, sweep your arms down toward your hips while gently contracting your lower abdomen. This helps push blood downward into the pelvic region, increasing pressure where you need it most. As you continue this rhythm, focus on the warm expansion occurring around your lower belly and groin. With each inhale, imagine the arteries opening, and with each exhale, picture the blood moving deeper into the pelvis. You're not just stretching, you're stimulating the endothelial lining of your blood vessels, the same tissue responsible for producing nitric oxide. Once this lining becomes more responsive, even sexual arousal itself will trigger stronger vascular reactions. After about 10 repetitions, transition into controlled hip circles, keeping your upper body relaxed while the pelvis rotates slowly in a wide, fluid motion. This encourages circulation around the iliac arteries and reduces stiffness in the lower back, which often restricts blood flow to the penis without men realizing it. Move clockwise for 30 seconds, then counterclockwise for another 30. You should feel a gradual heat spreading across the pelvis as dormant pathways reopen. The more fluid your hips become, the more effectively your body can send blood downward during arousal. Many men with erectile dysfunction unknowingly carry excessive tension in their hip flexors, which compresses the vessels that lead to the penis. These circles release that tension and create space for better circulation. That space is crucial because a healthy erection requires not just blood volume but pressure, something impossible when the vessels are partially restricted. As you finish the movement, take a minute to notice how your body feels heavier in the pelvis and lighter in the chest. That shift is a sign that blood flow has redistributed properly. With daily repetition, This routine begins improving responsiveness, making erections rise faster and stay firm longer. And once circulation is flowing freely again, the next step is to address a hidden factor most men never consider: the nerves that control the erection reflex, and how mobility in your lower spine can either support or sabotage that system. If blood flow is the fuel behind a strong erection, the nerves running through your lower spine are the electrical wiring. And here is something most men never hear: even a slight compression in the lumbar region can disrupt the very signals that tell the penis to harden. The pudendal nerve, which carries the erection reflex, travels through the pelvis, around the hips, and into the base of the penis. When the lower back stiffens with age, or when hip mobility decreases after decades of sitting, this nerve gets irritated, slowed, or partially blocked. That alone can lead to weaker erections, loss of sensitivity, or difficulty maintaining firmness. The third movement is designed specifically to decompress that pathway. Start by lying on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the ground. Keep your arms relaxed to the side. Now slowly tilt your pelvis upward, pressing your lower back gently into the floor as you exhale. This motion lengthens the lumbar spine and creates space for the nerves to glide freely. Hold for 2 seconds, then release as you inhale, letting your pelvis return to neutral without arching excessively. This small movement may feel subtle, but the impact on nerve mobility is real and immediate. After 10 repetitions, bring both knees towards your chest and hold them with your hands. Do not pull aggressively. Instead, allow gravity to guide the stretch as your lower spine opens and your hips soften. You might feel a gentle release across the sacrum or a warmth spreading down into the pelvic region. This is the tension held around the pudendal nerve beginning to ease. When that tension drops, nerve signals travel more efficiently, resulting in faster arousal and stronger erections. Next, place your right ankle over your left knee and gently pull the left thigh toward your chest. This figure 4 stretch targets the piriformis muscle, one of the most common sources of nerve compression in men with erectile dysfunction. A tight piriformis squeezes the nerve like a clamp, cutting off communication between brain and penis. Hold this stretch for 20 to 30 seconds, breathing slowly, and then switch sides. Each release helps restore the natural pathway that carries the impulses responsible for erection strength and control. Once both sides are done, roll onto your hands and knees for a simple but powerful mobility drill. Arch your back upward while tucking your chin, then drop your belly and lift your chest forward as you inhale. This cat-cow motion increases cerebrospinal fluid movement and encourages the spinal nerves to reset their natural rhythm. As the vertebrae glide more smoothly, the nerves regain the flexibility they need for consistent erectile response. With each session, the lower back becomes less rigid, the hips open more freely, and the nerve pathways running to your penis regain the responsiveness that often fades unnoticed after 50. Many men report a sudden increase in sensitivity, a stronger pulse in the base of the penis, or a faster reaction to arousal after just a few days of practice. These are signs that the neurological system is waking up again, preparing your body for more powerful and reliable erections. And once the nerves, blood flow, and pelvic floor are all working together, the next step is learning how to combine these movements strategically so the results build on each other instead of fading. Now that you understand how each movement targets a specific pillar of your erection, pelvic activation, vasodilation, and nerve mobility, the next step is combining them into a sequence that amplifies their effects. Most men fail not because the exercises don't work, but because they perform them in the wrong order or without a rhythm that allows the body to respond fully. When these movements are stacked strategically, the results become noticeably stronger, more consistent, and far faster than doing them separately. Start the routine with the pelvic floor activation from the first exercise. This wakes up the neuromuscular system responsible for trapping blood inside the penis. Think of it as flipping the switch that prepares the entire pelvic region for what comes next. 10 to 15 slow, deliberate contractions signal the body that erection-related muscles need to fire, and they prime the veins at the base of the penis to begin tightening more effectively. Once those muscles are awake, transition immediately into the vasodilation exercise. Your blood vessels are most responsive in the minutes following targeted muscle activation, which makes this the ideal time to stimulate nitric oxide production and increase overall circulation. The deep breathing and ribcage expansion work like a pump, drawing blood downward, while the hip movements reduce tension that often limits flow. This is where men first feel a noticeable warmth, pressure, or fullness in the pelvic region, a sign that the erectile chambers are receiving better circulation. After your circulation is flowing strongly, move into the lumbar and hip mobility sequence. Nerve pathways respond best when blood flow is already elevated, because warm tissues stretch more easily and compressed nerves glide more freely. The combination of knee-to-chest stretches, figure 4 releases, and gentle spinal motion resets the lower back and removes hidden compressions that weaken erection signals. This step is crucial because even if blood flow improves, poor nerve communication will always limit firmness and control. Completing the sequence in this order: muscle activation, circulation, enhancement, then nerve decompression, creates a reinforcing cycle. Stronger pelvic contraction improves blood trapping. Better circulation feeds oxygen into the pelvic floor and penile tissues. Freed nerves increase sensitivity and reflex strength. These systems feed into each other like gears in a machine, and when all three rotate smoothly, erectile function becomes more reliable with less effort. Repeat this entire cycle once a day for the first week, increasing to twice a day if you feel comfortable. The routine takes just 10 to 15 minutes, but its cumulative effect is powerful. Many men describe feeling their penis become more responsive during arousal, or noticing spontaneous firmness returning in moments when they had stopped expecting it. These early signals show your sexual system is rebalancing, preparing you for deeper improvements ahead. As these changes take hold, the body begins to respond in predictable phases, something you'll understand even more clearly once you know what typically happens in the first 7, 14, and 30 days of consistent practice. As your body begins adapting to the routine, the changes rarely happen all at once. They follow a clear progression that reflects how your vascular, muscular, and neurological systems come back online. Understanding what to expect at 7, 14, and 30 days helps you stay consistent and recognize the signals that your erection is rebuilding from the inside out. Most men assume that progress means instantly achieving a full, firm erection. But the truth is that the earliest improvements happen in subtler, physiological ways long before you reach peak performance again. During the first 7 days, the most common change is a sense of warmth or heaviness in the pelvic region. This is increased blood flow returning to tissues that have been understimulated for years. Some men notice more frequent tingling around the base of the penis, or a slight pulsing sensation even when they're not aroused. These are positive signs that circulation is improving and the pelvic muscles are beginning to contract more efficiently. You may also feel your lower back loosening, especially in the mornings, as nerve compression decreases. These early shifts set the foundation for stronger erectile reactions later. Between days 7 and 14, the improvements become more noticeable. Morning erections begin to feel firmer or last a bit longer, even if they aren't consistently strong yet. The penis may appear fuller during the day, with a stronger baseline blood presence inside the erectile chambers. This is your vascular system responding to repeated nitric oxide stimulation and more efficient venous trapping. Many men also report increased sensitivity, especially along the underside of the shaft or at the tip, as nerve signals begin firing more clearly. The pelvic floor muscles gain strength during this stage, making the penis respond faster when you experience mental or visual arousal. By the time you reach 30 days, the system starts functioning more predictably. Erections form with less effort because the pathways that control them are no longer working through stiffness, weak muscles, or slow signaling. Blood fills the penis more quickly, the pelvic floor holds it more effectively, and the nerves deliver stronger reflex feedback. You may notice that your arousal feels smoother, less interrupted by hesitation or sudden loss of firmness. Many men also experience spontaneous erections returning, something that almost always indicates restored vascular responsiveness. These changes happen because the pelvic floor, circulation, and nerve function have synchronized into a stable pattern. Another important shift by day 30 is emotional confidence. When your body starts responding reliably again, the anxiety that often sabotages performance begins fading. This reduced tension allows erections to form more naturally because psychological stress no longer interferes with circulation. The physical and mental improvements reinforce each other, creating a cycle that makes progress increasingly stable. All of these changes, improved warmth, stronger morning erections, increased sensitivity, better blood retention, and reduced anxiety, show that your body is regaining the physical foundation needed for consistent sexual performance. At this stage, the exercises are working together as one unified system. And once you've reached this level of responsiveness, the next step is making a few small lifestyle adjustments that ensure these gains don't fade and help your erections continue strengthening over time. By the time your pelvic floor is stronger, your blood flow more responsive, and your nerve pathways clearer, your body is finally positioned to rebuild sexual performance with stability. But for these improvements to last and continue growing, your daily habits need to support what the exercises are creating. The truth is that erectile strength is not an isolated function. It's influenced by your circulation, your sleep, your posture, your breathing patterns, and even how hydrated your tissues are. When these elements work in harmony, the sexual system becomes far more reliable than it has been in years. Start by paying attention to how you sit. Long hours in a chair compress the pelvic nerves and reduce blood flow to the base of the penis. Even small adjustments make a real difference. Keep your hips slightly higher than your knees and shift positions every 20 to 30 minutes. This simple habit prevents the slow, silent circulation blockages that weaken erections over time. Pair this with deep diaphragmatic breathing throughout the day. Oxygen-rich blood improves endothelial function, helping your arteries stay more elastic and responsive during arousal. Hydration is another essential factor. Blood thickens when you're dehydrated, forcing your heart to work harder to send blood to the pelvic region. Aim for steady hydration rather than drinking large amounts at once. Electrolyte-rich water supports better absorption, especially if you're over 50 and your body no longer retains minerals as efficiently. This small shift keeps your vascular system prepared for rapid dilation when sexual stimulation begins. Nighttime habits matter just as much. Erections are heavily influenced by sleep quality because deep sleep is when your body produces most of its testosterone and repairs the endothelial lining responsible for nitric oxide release. A dark, cool bedroom, fewer screens before bed, and a consistent sleep routine all contribute to healthier hormone cycles. These small adjustments compound, strengthening the foundation you've been rebuilding with the exercises. Circulation-boosting activities play a powerful supporting role. A 10-minute walk after meals improves blood flow to the pelvis and reduces inflammation. Gentle stretching in the evening loosens the hip flexors and lower back, preventing the nerve compression that can interrupt erection signals. None of these require extreme effort, they only require consistency. Your penis responds best when your body stays flexible, oxygenated, and free from chronic tension. If you integrate these habits, the progress from the exercises becomes more durable. Erections form more easily, remain firm longer, and feel more natural because your entire system is working with you instead of against you. Over time, many men notice that what once required conscious effort becomes automatic again. The body relearns how to perform without strain or hesitation, just as it did years ago. And now that you've come this far, let me leave you with something simple. If this content has helped you understand your body better and given you tools you can actually apply, consider subscribing to the channel so you keep receiving guidance that strengthens your health step by step. And if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to leave a comment saying, "I'm here until the End. It lets me know you're committed to your progress. If the video brought clarity or motivation, a like is always appreciated because it helps this message reach more men who quietly need it. And before you go, there's another video right here that continues building on everything we discussed. Click on it and keep moving forward. Your body responds to what you do next.